Hello there, only one Kenobi here, only one. This is kind of a nostalgic video because, you know, when I started my channel, I did a video entitled Modern First 12 Figures That Are Missing. And I tell you what, at the time that was one of my most popular videos. It's now subsequently been eclipsed by other stuff I've done. But I wanted to do an update to that video, and what I mean by that is, what figures have we had that are in the first 12, or were the first 12 card backs that are in the modern line that are missing? What have we got, and what do we need? And you know something, much as a lot of us grizzle about Hasbro and stuff, they've done a really good job at not only giving us some good card backs and new figures and characters in the vintage collection, and they've brought it back, and they've brought it back well. You know, stuff like this. It's been a great year for the vintage collection. But they've also filled a lot of gaps that I personally wanted. Like this guy here is one of the reasons I actually started my channel. I was desperate to see this card come back. And he did. They did it. They made my dream come true. So what is left? So what I have done now is I've done an update to my video. I couldn't believe it. I uploaded it in, I think it was the 10th of October 2017. Almost 3 years ago. So that time has just flown by. And since then on my channel I've speculated about the vintage collection and talked about it a lot. So thank you for being a subscriber, and stay tuned, there's a lot more to come. So here is what we have that are first 12 card backs in the modern line. So inside you've got a modern figure. Now this has got nothing to do with the retro collection. Like, I can't stress that enough. The retro collection is great, it's giving us original card backs, although they have been updated with that. You know, they've gone for that rustic style and they've got the stickers on the front. That's not what I'm on about here. I'm on about the vintage collection is modern figures, updated, brilliant, premium figures, should we say, on classic card backs with a Star Wars chase. So what have we got and what's still missing? Let's start over here. This is not vintage collection, but I consider it part of the vintage collection because it is a modern vintage figure. It's a classic card back brought into the modern era with a premium figure, although they are getting a bit old now. I don't even have that one loose, but still, that is all we have since the 80s for Old Ben. And these are in the VOTC. This one, this, and this. All these four here are part of something called a VOTC, or Vintage Original Trilogy Collection, which was in 2004. And though this is a little bit of a miss, this guy was a hit and it stood the test of time. I can't say enough good things about Han Solo in the VOTC 2004. If you haven't got that figure, try and get hold of it. They'll never... Well, no, I can't say that they'll never do better than that. They could do better, but for now it stood the test of time. That's still the best Han Solo going, they think. Then you've got this guy here, which is still part of that family of the VOTC almost, but it's the Vintage Saga collection, because in 2006 and 2007 they had the Saga collection, but then they made some vintage card backs in that line. So they had the Sand Person, or the Tusken Raider, and what else did they have? They had Bosk and Greedo, but those guys aren't part of the first 12. So that's all I have to say about that. Forrest Gump. These five here are not the vintage collection, but they are vintage modern cards. Let's talk about the vintage collection now. So this is vintage collection, and so is this guy. So the Imperial Navy Commander, formerly known as the Death Squad Commander, I think, was in the first 12, as was Lord Vader. So there's not much change there. It's pretty much, we're up to now where I was in that previous video I made. I've stacked underneath this Vader some other things, because this was VC 93, which was getting on a bit. It had 93 cards, almost 100 releases. But they'd already done Vader on an Empire Strikes Back card, which is being re-released actually, the VC08, this year, and Return of the Jedi. But in terms of you wanting a Star Wars chase, you got it with VC 93. So there you are. Now we're up to 7 figures now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Moving on. Previously, we had that for Chewbacca. Now this is a Vintage Saga collection. This is in 2004. No, this is VOTC. I beg your pardon. But he came on a Return of the Jedi chase, which is peculiar because that is a New Hope image. Could have and should have been put on a New Hope card, but have no fear, friends. We got that this year. Yes, 2019 saw the return of Chewbacca on his correct chase card. That's what it's called. I called it a trim in my last video, which was the one I'm going to leave. I'll leave a link to my previous video all about this underneath. I kept calling it a trim. I think it's called a chase. If you're not familiar with, if you're struggling to describe what that thing is, it's like a racetrack around, like a frame. I think it's called the Star Wars Chase. But let me know what you call it underneath. But there he is. It was kind of a repack of a figure we had in the Black Series, but who cares, man? I was jumping for joy when I knew they were bringing out Chewbacca on VC41 on a Star Wars Chase. But not as excited as I was when I found out that this guy was coming out. This guy started it all for me. I started my channel because of the want of this card. And thank you, Hasbro. Love you forever. You gave me it, although we can argue all we like about should that be clean or dirty. I don't care, whatever, I love that figure as well. Loose 149, we saw the return of R2-D2. Now let's move on to the Stormtroopers situation here. Now, all we've ever had on a Star Wars Chase for a Stormtrooper is George Lucas. There he is. This is another one that was in the Vintage Saga collection, I believe. It's 2006. And unfortunately, it's George in there. I love you forever, George Lucas, but unfortunately it does not feel like a Stormtrooper with you in there, George. It's a quirky card back, but other than that, we've had countless releases for the Stormtrooper. We've had him on a Return of the Jedi card, we've had him in the Vintage Collection on an Empire Strikes Back card, VC41. However, the problem is, for me, being a completist or a lover of the first 12 and wanting the first 12 in the modern era, unfortunately that is not Empire Strikes Back, that's New Hope. Although I love the Empire Strikes Back logo on that figure and card back there. So that's still a gap we need to fill. And what they could do is fill it with, oh, the most beautiful figure. We'll talk about that in a minute, actually. Let's move on to Threepio. Threepio is an issue for me because Threepio, they dropped the ball here, Hasbro. This is somewhere I think they made a mistake. What you got with Threepio is this. This came out in 2004 as part of the Vintage Original Trilogy collection, and they put it on an Empire Strikes Back card. There it is. He's quite shiny on that one. Not very articulated, I understand that figure, but still, it's a classic. Love that image. This is where they dropped the ball. They decided to bring Threepio back again in the Vintage collection, which is in 2010 to 2013, which was VC06. Look what they did. They gave you an amazing figure, by the way. That's really good. Although some argue it's too dull. I like it because it's really articulated. It's a good figure. But anyway, look what they did. They gave it to you again on Empire Strikes Back. Now, for me, I don't know if you agree with me, but that's a missed opportunity. They could have given us, boom, a Star Wars Chase. So we would have had a modern 3PO on a Star Wars Chase. Unfortunately not. So that means that's something that needs filling. And finally, the Jawa. Now in my previous video, I'll show you some images of that as you've been seeing, but I did have a custom Jawa and I did have a custom R2 as well that I was showing on the video, and I've sold them now subsequently on eBay. I needed to just clear some space, and customs aren't real product. I like stuff that's been officially released by the companies, the original companies and brands that make them. But I did have a Jawa. It's gone now, but here's the good news. From what I understand, the Jawa is coming back, so they are filling that gap, which is brilliant, but I don't know if it was a rumour or it's actually official, because I've seen and heard nothing more about the Jawa. So if you want to fill me in, let me know. But I thought I'd show you these two figures, which is the Black Series. So people wouldn't be happy if I wouldn't mind them repacking them, just because I want the card back more than anything, like I wanted that card. But it would be nice to maybe see just one Jawa on a soft goods, or as I've argued before, have two Jawas like these two are, and change the card back so it says Jawas, not Jawa. Just an idea. So then let's go over it. What are we missing? What do we need? So we have got, considering all these are modern, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 12. We're still missing a Stormtrooper, a 3PO, and the Jawa, which is coming. There you are. But the thing is about the Stormtrooper, hello there, sorry about that, I had to change rooms. Slightly darker in here, but you can just about see. This is what I wanted to talk about. The Vintage Collection 2019 saw the arrival of this incredible figure. The card back ain't bad as well. But the thing is that this is the ultimate Stormtrooper, there's no question of that. We're talking about VC 140 here. just for the sake of giving us something classic, I'd love to see this Stormtrooper. Let's go and change rooms. That Stormtrooper on the classic Star Wars chase. I'm just moving over here again. Check it out. Imagine that. I'd love it. Even if you were just wanting to see the release of the Stormtrooper again, or just to see it on that card, it's worth a go, isn't it? And it would sell. Come on, everyone's a winner. That's what we need. So there are 3 gaps: Stormtrooper, Threepio, Jawa. Then you will have a modern equivalent of the first 12 cardbacks, ladies and gentlemen. And I dare say a lot of these need updating. He could do with an update. She could. Definitely she could, because she's got the horrible swivel elbows. You know, this is a really well articulated figure, but the face needs updating. He's incredible, but you know, well, yeah. Anyway, whatever. I'm going to stop there. This could go on forever. I hope you've enjoyed that video. Just something I'm very passionate about, the vintage collection and its future and what we need to do and what we've had before. And on that note, I'm going to shut up. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button if you have enjoyed this video, and subscribe and follow the rest of the channel. This has been Only One Kenobi. Only one.